Hi guys, let's get into a reading. Thank you guys for your likes, your comments, your subscribes, and to those of you who have booked a personal reading with me, please keep in mind that these are general messages, so do not take them personally. Take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can find the information in the description box below. Let's get into it. What message do you have for the collective at this time? Help me to articulate a clear and concise message in order for it to be received in the way that you want it to best be received. Help me to see what it is that I need to see to get the message across as clear as possible. And help me to deliver any messages that you deem worthy in order to serve your highest good, for the highest good of humanity with harm to none. What messages do you have for the collective at this time? What messages do you have for the collective at this time? What messages do you have for the collective at this time? One more. One more. There's an alignment. What I was sensing before while I was shuffling, there's an influx of new life coming in, is what I was sensing. Right? It's almost like there's a lot of little seeds that may have been planted. So this may have been like new ideas that you've had, or something that you've been investing in. But I'm seeing like many seeds planted in the soil that all start to kind of like bloom or emerge all at once. Huh. Clarify inner child. Clarify inner child. Knight of Cups and the Hermit with the Devil card. Yeah. Okay. So there's something that you've been desiring, something that you have always longed for, something that has truly been a wish or a desire for you since you were a child, right? Something that you feel very connected to. But it's almost as if whatever this is that is coming forth, you feel a sense of fear about bringing this force into life, right? There's a deep-seated fear in this. It may be something that you experienced as a child surrounding this, and now that it has the opportunity to take life, there are some Very deep-rooted fears. Look, the moon. Very deep-rooted fears associated with this. Clarify the devil. Yeah. The Five of Swords. Mm-hmm. It almost feels like whatever this is, you don't necessarily trust. There's a conflict here, a sense of self-sabotage in a way where you don't necessarily, I don't know if it's that you don't trust this, whatever this is that you're giving life to, or if you don't trust yourself to indulge in this, right? But there's still a very strong will here to want to invest in this. Look, the Knight of Pentacles underneath. There's still a very strong, yeah, and the Six of Wands. There's still a very strong, there's still here, there's still a very strong desire and will to want to invest in this, although there is a very strong sense of fear. But it's almost as if like there's a sense of perseverance within this. Like we must persist through this in order to release ourselves from repeating the same cycles that are keeping us stuck within ourselves, right? Give me something on this Hermit. The Chariot. Oh. Oh, the Chariot and the Seven of Cups. It's almost as if the fear might be stemming from you not knowing where this is going to lead 100%. There's not a sense of, and maybe, I mean, there is a fear, but there's also like a hesitancy. It's not a full stop. It's still a persistent, but it's a very observant, like carefully observing every step before you make the next move. Clarify confusion. The Death card. Yeah. You got to release that mistrust within yourself. Transform the Three of Wands. Yeah, because if you don't, yeah, because I mean, this was in the reverse. I turned it around. But the Three of Swords, it's almost as if you don't clarify this Three of Wands in reverse. If you don't release the Seven of Swords, yeah, okay, so there's a fear. The Three of Wands is the hesitation that I was sensing over here, right? There's something, again, it's not stopping you from coming forward completely, but there is a very careful observation that's taking place within you right now, because you're uncertain of where this journey is going to lead you. And because you're uncertain, it almost feels like you're walking forward blindly. But in order for you to completely accept or be able to receive what it is that you're trying to create, you are going to have to detach yourself from this deep-rooted fear, right? You're going to have to detach yourself from this hesitancy of not being prepared to expect what it is that you manifest it to come in for you, right? Because if you hold on to that expectation that things may not work out, then you're only deceiving yourself in the moment of manifestation, right? And when you kind of doubt yourself, you create confusion. It creates an illusion, which kind of puts a stall on what it is that you're trying to bring in. Because it's almost as if, like, if you don't completely trust what it is that you're asking for, then you won't be able to, it won't feel good when you receive it, because you don't necessarily trust it. You don't trust yourself enough to trust this. Clarify this death card. The High Priestess and the Sun. Yeah. There is a sense of clarity that you have internally in knowing that, I mean, there's some sort of connection you have to this, right? Again, since as a child you kind of knew that this, whatever this manifestation is, would bring you to your biggest fulfillment in life, right? This, whatever this manifestation is for you, achieving this would help you to reach that sense of serenity. It would help you to reach that sense of harmony, right? The ultimate fulfillment. The Sun is the happiest card in the deck, right? It's an anointing placed by God, right? That helps you to continuously grow. And in that essence, you continuously receive cycles of abundance because you are kind of grounded in that warmth, right? And you have, again, the High Priestess is kind of making you aware of what it is that you need to transform within yourself, what it is that you need to let go within yourself in order to kind of like release this sense of confusion, this fear, this sense of self-sabotage. The Three of Swords was at the bottom of the deck a second ago, which also represents like healing in a sense, right? Healing from something that once broke your heart. So whatever that may be for you, right? And in the Search card, I'm drawn to this like eye at the top of the card. I don't know if you can see that through the camera, but there's an eye at the top of the card where it's almost as if like you kind of have to, again, become one with who you are internally, right? That's all aspects of yourself. In order for you to be able to accept what is trying to come in for you, right? Because it's almost as if like it's not just a desire, but it's a part of you, a part of your soul's being, a part of your soul's purpose, because it's connected to your childhood, the purest aspect of you, the one that's closest to God, right? Creation. Clarify Search. Two of Wands. Yeah, give me one more. That Search is the, yeah. See? Okay, so there's an evolution here, right? It went from the Knight of Cups to the King of Cups. So there's an evolution here within you finding or you searching yourself, right? Then we have the Knight of Pentacles. Was this underneath something a second ago? Maybe it was in a previous reading, but I feel like I may have just seen this card very recently. There is, again, with this evolution, there is a sense of, in this search, in this sense of searching for yourself, you are kind of examining two different pathways, right? If you follow one pathway, where would that lead you? right? Would you be connected to yourself, or would you be connected to something that is not as fulfilling, something that is not as sustainable? And I'm trying to figure out how to put this into words, because it's almost as if whatever one path will lead you closer to yourself, right? It will bring you a sense of peace, it will bring you a sense of clarity, or it will bring you a sense of abundance, a sense of harmony, right? It will put you into this energy of receiving. However, it will take more effort from you internally, but you won't necessarily need to do as much externally. However, the other path will require less of you internally, but more of you externally. And it will leave you feeling drained, not necessarily fulfilled, but it's almost as if it is temporary fulfillment, right? Like just as fast as you receive it, as fast as you lose it, right? It's almost as if like you're getting it, but it's not sustainable. It's not fulfilling. It's not really nourishing. It just kind of like, it doesn't necessarily satisfy the craving. It just kind of gives you a taste of it, right? And so there's again like a sense of internal reflection where you kind of have to acknowledge, which path are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the work that requires more effort internally so that you're more grounded, you're more sustainable, and you have more longevity? Or are you going to entertain the external aspects where you'll be more drained, more tired, less fulfilled? There's less harmony, but there are quick fixes that come every now and again, and they kind of fulfill your wants, but they don't necessarily cater to your needs. So you definitely have to be mindful of, what you're choosing to invest in this next phase. Okay, let's pull 4 cards. One card for what we can learn as the major lesson surrounding this message. One card for what we can create surrounding this message. One card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message. And one card for the new cycles and habits we can innovate to contribute to our growth and expansion surrounding this message. This is a sense of the choice is yours, right? You have the floor, you have the say. Are you ready to receive? Or are you more interested in giving? Because even in that space of receiving, you'll still be putting in effort, but it's a more sustainable effort. It's a more fulfilling effort where it won't feel as difficult to pour into, right? It will be more satisfying to experience as opposed to pouring your all into something and not even necessarily getting to completely experience what it is that you're desiring to its fullest potential, right? Again, it's almost as if like you, in one aspect, you get glimpses of satisfaction, where the other one is just kind of an existence of satisfaction, right? One message for what we can learn. Warrior and witch. Are you going to continue to fight for what it is that, again, you have truly desired as, vision and seer? What it is that, the vision that you have for yourself, the manifestation that you have for yourself, right? This is, I'm almost saying that's like a trinity, right? Where there's a balanced effort of creation, but it requires different valuables from you, right? Your vision, your discipline, and your execution. Are you going to, it's almost as if like the lesson here is learning to fight for what it is that you feel that you deserve internally so that it can manifest externally, right? One card for what we can create surrounding this message. The Prince and Whispers, Magician. This is almost giving, oh, I don't know if I necessarily clarified the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups, the evolution, right? There's a growth here in the groundedness. So maybe you are choosing to commit to this. Let's pull in this King of Cups. What is this evolution from the Knight of Cups to the King of Cups? Clarify this King of Cups. Okay, that's way too many. Oh, but is it? Because you've got the Ten of Cups. So again, and then here's the Page of Cups. Your deepest desires. What it is that you wished for as a child. And yeah, the Empress, the Strength. Okay. The Eight of Wands. Yeah. There's a, how can I put this into words? It's almost as if you stepping into this King of Cups, this groundedness within you. There's a connection to your emotions, right? Where you, it's almost as if like there's an alignment between your mind, your heart, and your spirit, right? Again, the Trinity that I saw, I think was at the bottom of the deck a second ago. The Trinity, your mind, your body, and your spirit come into alignment in order to create this sense of Ten of Cups, right? The Empress is the mother, is the creator, right? The one who gives life, the one who gives birth to new life, right? Remember in the beginning of the message was many seeds of new life, right? The Eight of Wands is the spark of those things coming into creation, right? It's you nurturing those things, right? It's you communicating not only to the new life that you're creating, but to yourself about which direction you want to go, right? Remember the Two of Wands, which direction, which path do you want to pursue? And the Strength card. Are you going to have the strength, the power to be disciplined, to be committed to this? To be grounded in this sense of serenity and peace? Because some people read peace and serenity and harmony because it's an even pace. It's not very quick. It's not very fast paced, but because it's an even flow, some people can read that as boring, like being boring. But it's not boring. There's a sense of fulfillment because you created all your desires. It's just that you're no longer in this frequency of chasing. You're in this frequency of birthing, right? Which is a more gentle process, right? It's something that happens in phases as opposed to having an idea and just manifesting it into life, right? It kind of happens in phases where you have to nurture the being or each cycle that it grows, right? But within that, there's also a knowing, an acknowledgement of your strength, of your power, and your ability to bring things to life, to create new life, to sustain new life. Because it's one thing to create new life, but it's another thing to sustain new life in a healthy way that you not only feed it, but it feeds you as well. And that's what this King of Cups is giving, right? You're not just blindly creating new things that don't necessarily bring sustainability. With the King of Cups, you're intentionally nurturing things so that they have the ability to grow to its fullest potential, which again in return will help to nourish you, right? So one card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message. One card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message. There's definitely a sense of growth here. Expansion. Look, as soon as I said growth, expansion came out. Death. Twice, right? Death came out in the tarot. It's a transformation, right? From the Knight of Cups to the King of Cups, right? You're going from mindlessly pouring into different things to intentionally nurturing the sustainability of your future, right? There's a massive level of growth here with the expansion, the transformation, the Ten of Cups, the Empress, right? The King of Cups. Like you have so many, the High Priestess, the Sun came out. There's a massive level of growth here. There's a massive level of life. You have the ability to really live the life of your dreams, right? But you have to be conscious enough to remain committed to that, right? Discipline is an internal thing. It's also a mental thing, right? It may not seem, outwardly like a struggle, but it is a choice every single day that you have to make, right? To continuously choose. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to choose peace. It's so much harder to choose peace than to exist in a space of chaos, because in chaos, you just exist in the moment without necessarily having to think about the repercussions of your decisions. Whereas when you're choosing peace, you really have to be intentional about staying calm, remaining balanced, and choosing not to risk everything that you have created. It is a very heavy responsibility to choose peace every single day in every single moment. And I think that because it looks so easy externally, people don't realize the work, the commitment, the discipline that it takes internally, right? Which is, again, kind of the focus of this message. You're going to have to shift your priorities. As opposed to receiving from the external, you're going to have to shift to aligning yourself internally, right? Those are two different things. When you're living for the external, you're chasing something, right? But when you are creating from the internal, you're aligning, right? So putting yourself in a position to receive. And again, that's very difficult because you have to maintain a place of stability, a place of commitment, a place of discernment, right? One card for what we can innovate to contribute to our growth and expansion surrounding this message. Healer. And senses. So this doesn't necessarily have to mean that you are healing outwardly, but it's more of an internal aspect, right? Where you're having to adjust to what peace feels like, right? Learning what it means to be settled, to be grounded, right? Because to be grounded does not equal being stuck, right? When you're grounded, there's still growth involved. When you're stuck, there's no movement. Those are two different things. And so again, that's this Two of Wands, learning the difference between grounded and stuck. They're not the same thing, although you may perceive them as the same frequency, but they're definitely not. And I think that's the aspect that you're healing within yourself, right? Becoming more in tune with your senses as well. And knowing, that peace does not mean boring, right? It means satisfaction in a completely different way, right? As opposed, it's almost as if like you're moving away from chasing addictions to really chasing fulfillment. Addictions don't really fulfill you. It's just a quick fix. And then as quick as you receive something, you're chasing it again, right? As opposed to fulfillment, when you directly align yourself, right, to something that's never ending, to something that's continuous, right? But that is the message that I have for you guys. I hope that it resonates. I know that if you made it to the end of this video, you have found something in it that is worthy and valuable to you. Thank you for watching. Bye.